Well, hello, heathens. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, y'all.
Hey there, Casey. So today, from what I understand, we're talking about a guy that rapes a girl and then he buys her with a blood dick oath.
Yeah, yes, we have more Blood Dick Oath today, and that is very exciting. And it's not just one guy on Blood Dick Oath. They get a whole city of men to get part of their dicks cut off.
Holy crap! How do you Can you imagine pitching that to all the guys out there? Just like, oh, all right, guys, listen. I raped this broad, right? I know, horrible. It gets better. But in order for me to actually have her because she was a really good lay, you all need to have your dick cut off and a blood oath made with your dick skin. How do you sell that to anybody?
I don't know, but they did, and they all agreed. All the men agreed.
God damn. Well, heathens, today we've got another daily Bible study. We are going to be talking about some trigger worthy stuff, mainly rape, I guess. So if you're easily triggered by that, watch a different video of mine. Don't watch anybody else's video. Watch my videos because I'm kind of struggling right now. But hey, just click one of those things on the side there that's got my face on it. My ugly mug.
They all have your face on it except for this except for this podcast. Everything has your face on it.
Well, yeah, I don't feel right putting my face on it because we're not on cam, and so I don't know.
That's true.
I guess I could do a general one where that way people recognize that it's my podcast.
No, I mean, I like that our faces aren't on it. It makes it different from all the other stuff you do.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep it that way then. Decision made.
I'm glad we could have this administrative discussion during the podcast.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
All right. So, Casey, where are we going to start off today? Chapter, verse, legal code?
Right. Today we're going to start off with Genesis chapter 34. Okay, at the very beginning of it.
Everybody turn in your Bibles, just like this is a sermon, and we will talk about how to properly rape a girl and then buy her with your dick.
Not only her dick, just you wait. This is ridiculous what happens. It's awesome. This is actually so far Genesis chapter 34 so far is my favorite chapter in Genesis. It's I don't know, it reads much more like a novel. It's interesting, and you've got the characters and the things, you've got, I don't know, you just have a guy that does a bad thing and then he tries to redeem himself, and you've got revenge, and you've got, it's great. It's great. This is a good book.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to hear the story.
All right, so are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Dinah. Now, Dinah is Leah and Jacob's daughter.
Hey, do you know who's cooking in the kitchen with Dinah?
Her rapist, Shechem.
Yeah. Shechem threw that dick around too hard. Can you imagine? I bet you Dinah cooked up some spotted dick for him.
That's actually a pudding.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just to say,
a bread pudding.
Here's some spotted dick for you. Does it look familiar? And then I'd have his foreskin in it. Be like, there you go.
Ew. Mm-mm.
Well, look, Daddy gave this to me as a wedding gift. I thought I'd just give it back.
I thought it'd make you eat it for what you did, you asshat.
Anyways, on with the rape.
Okay, so she went out to visit the women of the land because, last time we ended where Jacob's whole people, they all Rachel, Leah, all of them, they all settled in Shechem, right? That's where we ended the last time. So Dinah went out to visit the women of the land. When Shechem, who is also a person, he's the son of Hamor the Hivite, which is the ruler of that area. So he's basically the prince. Saw her, he took her and violated her.
Wow. There's
reasons.
there's no way around that. Violated? I mean, that
Yep.
seems like it was taken by force.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. She definitely was taken by force.
Okay.
Um
Of course, this is still in Genesis, so it's before Leviticus,
right.
where they laid down the law that you've got to pay money for it instead of bloody dicks. You got to pay shekels. Which I wonder, do shekels come from this Shechem thing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Shekels, Shechem.
I don't
There
think
may
so.
be something there.
I don't think so, but isn't it like 50 shekels?
Yeah, it is, and 50 shekels nowadays comes out to be pretty good price for rape.
No, it's like $11.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, you're gonna say that's not a good price for like rape, and then you just get to go on about your day.
No.
Well,
I mean,
but it's in
I
the
know.
Bible.
I wouldn't take $11 to make up for being raped.
I mean, can you just imagine the judge is like, "All right, it's settled. Pay her $11, and then you can go." And then the victim's just sitting there like, "What the fuck just happened?" Biblical justice. Bum.
Yeah, so here's what's interesting. He rapes her, but then in the very next line, his heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl and spoke tenderly to her.
That's creepy as fuck. I mean, not only are you raping the girl, but then you're gonna try to pillow talk her. Like, what the fuck? Like, I know you're all tied up and gagged, but I really love you.
It's weird. It's totally fucked up. This guy is psychopathic. Like, so I don't know. It kind of reminds me of one of those things where it's like, don't make me do this. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, I love you. Don't make me do this. And he could have just, if he loved her and thought she was beautiful, he could have just wooed her and she probably would have given it to him.
Nope. Rape is much faster. You cut out all of the dates and stuff, all of that sweet talk, because, I mean, you can sweet talk later. First, she's got to appreciate the D.
Oh.
And also, I think that it was the D that was drawn to her, not his heart. Like, I wonder if by heart, he just means the tip of his penis.
I don't think
at
so.
At that point, he still had his tip.
He did. He did. So anyway,
is that your heart in your pants or your penis?
It's my foreskin.
Luckily, I still have it.
Right. So Shechem says to his father Hamor, get me this girl as my wife. All right. So when Jacob finds out that his daughter had been defiled, his sons were out in the field. So he kept quiet about it until they came home, I guess, because he's like, I really need you to get this fucking work done. And that's way more important than dealing with Dinah getting raped. Because, she's a woman and she probably didn't have her ankles covered.
Way to prioritize your family. You know that? It's like, look, guys, your sister was raped. She's fine. Please go work the fields. Do not worry about your sister. Remember, she's property too.
Well, I mean, the point is they were already in the fields working, and he just didn't tell them. He kept quiet about it until they came home after work. So basically, he just waited. But Shechem's father went out to talk with Jacob. By the time that Shechem's father, Hamor, got there, Jacob's sons had come home from the fields, and as soon as they'd heard what happened, they were pissed because he'd done a disgraceful thing, right, to her. And lying with Jacob's daughter like that just should not be done, right? Because you're going against Israel, right? Now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think that it matters. Well, I mean, this is me personally. I don't think it should matter who the fuck daughter she is. She's her own person. I don't think that women should be raped in general.
But not in the Bible. I mean, in biblical times, yes, technically she's an individual human being, but she is not her own person. She belongs to Jacob.
Well, I mean, I guess this would be like the same thing as raping a donkey, right? Except they'd have to kill the donkey. That actually is in Leviticus. later on. If
you
you're,
rape it, you must kill it.
well, no. If you like, not well, technically it would be rape, but if you have sex with livestock, like this was more important, mind you, than telling people don't rape women.
Right.
Right. That if you fuck an animal, whether you be man or woman, not only are you killed, but the animal is killed as well. So, I mean,
let's deal with animal rape, but person rape, let's just keep quiet about that shit.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, even before Leviticus, though, apparently you rape a girl, and I mean, at this point, you just lose the tip of your dick.
Well, I mean, that wasn't even punishment. That isn't really even punishment. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting to
that. So the brothers and Jacob were very upset. So Hamor said to them, "My son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife."
What the fuck?
Yeah. Intermarry with us, give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves. You can settle among us. This land is open to you. Live in it, trade in it, and acquire property in it. So they basically want they basically want Jacob's people and their people to intermingle and mix and become one people. I think this is the goal here.
Okay.
So Shechem was also there, rapist man, said to Dinah's father and brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask. Make the price for the bride and the gift I am to bring as great as you like, and I'll pay whatever you ask me. Only give me the girl as my wife."
Well, I mean, the fucker already raped her.
Right.
I mean, now, like, I don't understand why it's like, oh, I raped you, but I'm gonna ask your father for your hand in marriage. Like, I don't know. That seems like a little bit a fuckery afoot.
Yeah, I mean, he technically already ruined her for marrying someone else, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely ruined property as far as the Bible's concerned.
Yeah.
Hashtag objective morality here.
Well, so the brothers, her brothers, which brothers often are protective over their sisters, because their sister had been defiled, Jacob's sons replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shechem and his father. They said to them, "We can't do such a thing. We can't give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. That would be a disgrace to us. We will give our consent to you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. Then we will give you our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we will take our sister and go."
Okay, so I guess I understand why it has to be the entire, like, tribe,
yes,
or whatnot, because if they're going to be trading, they're going to be trading women, essentially.
Right.
I mean, they're going to want to ensure that any man that touches them definitely has the blood dick oath
right
on them. So,
well, okay. Right, and that's important. If they're going to become one people, they're going to be people of Jacob, which are people of Isaac, which are people of Abraham, and Abraham made the original blood dick oath with God that has carried through to today, frankly.
Okay, so basically it's convert or no deal.
Yes, essentially, okay. Yeah.
All
right. So the proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son. They were like, "Yeah, okay, this seems fine, totally normal." So the young man Shechem, who, interestingly enough, is the most honored of all of his father's household, like in the community.
He's the jock. Got it.
Yeah, he's the most honored, although he's a rapist, which, whatever, that's fine. Lost no time in doing what they said. He immediately went to the gates of the city to speak to his fellow townsmen. And Shechem and Hamor said to them, "These men are friendly toward us. Let them live in our land and trade in it. The land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters, and they can marry ours. But the men will consent to live with us as one people only on one condition: that our males be circumcised as they themselves are. Won't their livestock, their property, and all other animals become ours? So let us give our consent to them, and they will settle among us." All the men who went out of the city gates agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. Blood, dick, oath.
Yeah.
Blood, dick, oath.
Well, I mean, it just, I think that I would need a bit more convincing. Like, well, can I be exempt? I just won't fuck their women. I mean, can I just go over here and just not get my dick cut off, please?
Well, so what I'm wondering is, like, maybe the town was poor. Maybe they were suffering. Like, maybe they had problems with their livestock, or maybe they had trouble with getting other villagers, because you can only intermarry so much before it becomes problematic, and maybe they just needed an influx of new blood.
Possibly.
I mean, it doesn't really say anything about the conditions of the city or anything like that, or why it was so important to them to combine with this group and intermarry with them.
Well, I mean, if they're looking to grow as a significant population, I mean, the injection of new DNA to the population would be good, and it would give them more of a genetic diversity.
Right.
So, I mean, it does make sense that it's a good idea, like, depending on how large Jacob's, people actually were. Because, I mean, of course, he had his own family, but then we don't know exactly how many people he was towing along with him. So, I mean, but then you've also got to understand that it's like you've not only got to sell them on the blood dick oath part, like, you got to cut off the tip of your penis, okay? like there's no way to sell that easily. Not only that, but then you've also got to convince all of the fathers of the city, like, but you gotta cut off the tip of your penis and give them your kid. Like, right. I mean, you're selling two hard points right there. Like, I'm sorry, Susie, I know you're 8, but you're gonna go and live with Jacob and get fucked by him.
Well, I don't think that it was necessarily like they were sending them away. The whole idea was they would live as one population, like, together.
Well, I'm just talking about how they phrased it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we will trade women. And it's like, okay, well, so you're not only going to sell them on cutting their dicks off, or the tip of their dicks off, but you're also selling them on the idea that they've got to give their women,
right,
over, which, I mean, I hate saying that phrase in general, giving the women over, because it treats them like property.
Well, that's what they did.
It objectifies them. But, I mean, yeah, this whole beginning of the Bible is all about objectifying, like, women, and objectifying just like everything. So, anyways.
Well, so, and it is interesting. It didn't seem to take much convincing, at least as far as the story goes. But you have to also remember that Hamor and Shechem were the ruler and the prince of this land, of these people. So, typically the villagers are going to go with what the rule, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to kind of follow along. Mm-hmm. Now, this is my favorite part. Are you ready?
Yep.
So they all get circumcised. 3 days later, while all of the men were still in pain from being circumcised, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, who were also Dinah's brothers, they took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every single male in the city. They killed them all. They made them cut their dicks off, and then they killed them. Can you believe that shit?
Well, okay, look, it's the joke's really on them. It's their fault, okay? Because they took the word of Jacob's sons. Isn't Jacob, like, synonymous with, like, deceiver? Like, yes. That's what it means. Deceiver. Yes. They should have known. It was right in the name. It's like, oh, you're Jacob's sons. I don't exactly trust you, deceiving fucks. like
Yeah.
your dad confused his father to give him God's blessing. I don't know if I should really trust you at your word. But
Well, what's interesting is it was just these two sons. So you don't know this now, but we're going to find it out here in a minute that this was not something that Jacob approved of.
well, I mean, but still, it's Jacob's sons.
Right.
Jacob is a deceiver.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense that you might not trust a deceiver's sons. Like, I don't know, like that just seems to be something that you would think of first. But anyways, so these godly people
Mm-hmm.
injured had actually they had the people injure themselves, and then
Yes.
they came in and killed them, finished them off.
Yes. And they killed Shechem and Hamor last. They took Dinah from Shechem's house and they left. So they killed everybody in the city and they looted the whole city. They seized all of the dead men's flocks, herds, donkeys, everything else that was in the city. In their homes, they took all their wealth, they took all their women, they plundered everything.
Okay, I disagree with the idea that Jacob did not know this was going on. Like, I know in the story that
Mhm.
it says that he didn't know that it was going on, and I get that part of the story is that he didn't know. There's no way those two sons went and did that all by themselves. They had to have had a small army, depending on the population of the area.
Well, I'm going to have to agree that the story does say it's just those two sons. However, and all of the men were down. Like all of the men were like, I don't personally know of anybody who has gotten circumcised at and I'm going to say advanced age. I don't mean elderly. I mean older than a baby. But I'd imagine that it would take a little bit of healing time. I'd imagine it'd be a little difficult to maybe walk for a couple of days. I don't think there was anything that they could really do about it. And if they went home to home quietly, then maybe. But at the same time, do you really think that all these women are just going to stand by and be like, "Oh, okay, we understand." Like, I mean, it's like they took all the women. How are you going to take a town full of women and children? They just go willingly after you've killed all of their men, all of their family, all their fathers, brothers, husbands. Like what? I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in how they put it.
True. It doesn't make any sense. But then again, this is the Bible where we throw sense out the window, and our catchline is
The fuck?
the fuck? Yeah. that's the new catchline for this series. The fuck?
Do you want to know? You want to know why it's the new catchline, people? Because when I was doing, we call this my homework. So what I do is I study the next chapters that we're going to do on the Daily Bible Podcast. Before we come and do it, I read it all and look stuff up and refresh the story and everything. And so the very first thing I wrote in my notes today was about the whole thing about taking Dinah and violating her and then being like, "Oh, but I love her." And that was what I wrote. The fuck?
Yep. There's no other way to respond to that. I'm sure if Dinah was a real person, she'd even be sitting there like, "The fuck is happening right now?"
Right? What is with this pillow talk? Why are you telling me how pretty my eyes are, motherfucker? You just raped me. Like, I just can't imagine that would have been a good conversation. So anyway, they take everything, right?
Right.
So they get back home. And Jacob says to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble upon me by making a stench to the Canaanites and Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed."
Okay, so his problem is that he's technically too weak to fend off other tribes.
Well, they just don't have enough people.
Well, right. But at the same time, he's not mad at them because they fucking deceived an entire town to cut off the tip of their dicks and then went in quietly and killed every single man. Like
No.
even like even down to the like, I guess, sexually active, or not active but available boys, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know how young because they took all the women. It just says they killed all the men. So I don't know. And they did take the children, all their women and children. So I don't know how. I don't
Yeah.
know the age cutoff for killing the boys.
But I like how Jacob isn't objectifying on a moral grounds. It's on the whole idea that, oh, people can come fuck us up, guys.
Yeah, god damn it. God damn it. You killed off a village. If people hear about this and join together, they could take us on. Like,
Like, yeah, I
right.
love how it's not on a moral basis, but it's
No.
on more of a strategic basis.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, you want to know what the boys' response was?
Oh shit. What?
They just asked their father, well, should he have treated our sister like a prostitute?
Oh, no, see, that's wrong. I mean, well, them asking that is wrong because you pay a prostitute.
Right.
You don't pay a rape victim.
Well, no, they didn't pay her, but they paid Jacob and his family.
Well, yeah, but I mean, is saying that she's a prostitute, also prostitutes are consensual in it.
Well,
That's not a consensual thing.
well, true.
I think that it would have been a more powerful statement for them to be like, well, should he have like violently raped our sister and then been all creepy as fuck?
But so far as we know, Jacob didn't answer, and the story is over.
like let me answer your question with another question there, Pops. And then he's like, well, when you're right, you're right.
So when you move on to Genesis chapter 35, and this is immediately following this, she would treat you like a prostitute. God jumps in.
Oh! I'm so glad that now he's choosing to jump in, not when they were deceiving the townspeople to cut off the tip of their dicks and then kill them.
Or when Dinah was getting raped.
Yeah, I was moving backwards in time.
Oh, okay.
Then Dinah being raped and everything like that, and the creepiness with the pillow talk. Like, I don't know. It seems like a weird time for God to step in and be like, "Hold up, guys, y'all getting too wild here."
Oh no, that's not what he said. You want to know what he said?
Oh, what?
Basically, he directed Jacob to go to Bethel and settle there because they'd be safer there.
So wait, God's not even objecting to like the rape of Dinah?
No, he just says go to Bethel, settle there, build an altar to me, who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau.
Oh. Way to go, God.
Yeah.
Way to go. 5 of 7.
Yeah. So Jacob takes his household and to all of the new people that were not Jews, that were from the city that they, killed all the men and plundered. He said, get rid of all of the foreign gods you have with you and purify yourselves. Change your clothes, then come let us go up to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God who answered me in the day of my distress and who has been with me wherever I have gone. So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods they had and the rings in their ears. Apparently earrings are not cool. And Jacob buried them under the oak at Shechem.
We're just gonna put them under the oak tree, and
Right.
we're gonna pretend like they didn't happen. Okay,
Yeah.
we're just gonna let's go to Bethel, and you guys will praise my gods now.
Right.
Or God, whichever one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's confusing with religion.
Well, yeah, he's basically telling them all of the artifacts that you have worshiping whatever you do, you're done with that now. And now you're a Jew and you're going to worship the God of Abraham.
Huh. That's nice of him.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he can change their entire worldview like in an instant.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they killed all their men.
Yeah, don't fuck with me.
The women didn't really have a choice now, did they? So they set out, and the terror of God fell upon the towns all around them so that no one pursued them. I'm not really sure what that means.
So wait a second.
Other than God terrorized the fuck out of everybody else so that they would leave Jacob's people alone.
So like there's no indication of the other townsfolk rivaling against Jacob or
No.
anything like that. God's just like, well, to be sure, we're gonna scorched earth this thing, Jacob. Okay, so you travel as you will. Ignore all of the burning people and everything, like the screeching and the pain. Even the people that are like, I don't care about Jacob. Don't worry about them. Just keep on walking. I'm going to take care of those fucks.
But see, here's the thing. They were Canaanites, so they didn't worship God. Like, they didn't worship the God of Abraham. So, it...
Oh, so yet again, it's which actually this will come later. It's, if somebody says, hey, come, let's worship these other gods, then you stab them in the throat or stone them, either way.
Well, I mean, they're Canaanites, so they never have worshipped the God of Abraham.
Well, no, I know what I'm saying is that later on God says that if somebody else worships another god, and
Oh, right.
It's basically kill the infidels.
Oh, well, yeah, which is kind of a Muslim-y thing, but they're the same God, so it's fine.
It's an Abrahamic thing.
It's an Abrahamic thing.
Islam is an Abrahamic religion, just like Christianity is an Abrahamic religion. So in this respect, they both have kill infidels.
Right, which we're going to have a really interesting. We're actually gonna toward the end here. We're gonna get to a point where I'm gonna talk about something else, and we're gonna go out of the book and into a teaching lesson about current day stuff.
Ooh, okay.
I know, because it talks about current day. So we're gonna go outside of the Bible for that. So Jacob and all the people came to Luz, which is Bethel. I don't know why they have to call everything different names. I'm not really sure why they don't just fucking call it Bethel, but whatever. And they're still in the land of Canaan. There he built an altar. He called the place El Bethel, which means God of Bethel. And because it was there that God revealed himself to Jacob, and where he was fleeing from his brother Esau when he stole his blessing.
Okay, is this the place where he was like laying on a pillar?
Yeah.
Or something? Okay, yeah. He was laying on a pillar and like God appeared to him and told him, like, I call this place Bethel.
Yes. So, yeah.
This is where this is Bethel. Normally I piss on it, but
Well, it's interesting because they do it again where they name the place Bethel. And I'm like, whatever, this fucking place has been named 18 motherfucking times. And the same, like, I just don't understand. But anyway, this is a really pointless verse. We have a couple of these in here and I don't understand. But the next verse says, now Deborah, Rebecca's nurse, died and was buried under the oak below Bethel. So it was named Alon Bakuth, which means oak of weeping. We've never talked about Rebecca's nurse, Deborah. I don't know if this was one of the maidservants that had. Let's see. Is this one of the maidservants that had? No, this isn't one of the maidservants that had Jacob's son. I don't know who this bitch is or why it's important at this point in time that she died. I don't think anybody cares. That's the only thing that's ever said about her.
Okay.
I don't get it. So, moving on.
Can you imagine Jacob just standing there in front of the oak tree? It's like, Debbie's buried under there. I miss Debbie.
She was from lot 37. So, I don't know where Jacob went, but apparently Jacob returned. Well, I know where he went. He returned from Padam Aram, but I don't know why he was there. And God appeared to him again and blessed him. God said to him, your name is Jacob, but you will no longer be called Jacob. Your name will now be Israel. And he renamed him Israel. If you remember, Jacob means he deceives or grasps the heel, because when he was born, he was grasping the heel of Esau as he came out, because they were twins. Israel means he struggles with God. So he renamed him Israel. For what reason, we don't have any fucking clue. And God said to him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful and increase in number. A nation and a community of nations will come from you, and kings will come from your body. This land I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I also give to you, and I will give this land to your descendants after you. Then God went up from him at this place where he had talked with him. Jacob set up a stone pillar at this place where God had talked with him and poured out a drink offering on it. He also poured oil on it, and Jacob called the place where God talked with him Bethel.
Did
They
he
renamed the fucking city again.
did
Bethel.
did he legit just like pour one out for the homies?
Yeah.
I can just imagine him putting up the pillar or what the fuck ever, and then being like, "This is for you, dogs."
That's pretty much what he did. So then the family, for whatever reason, moved on from Bethel. While they were still some distance from Ephrath, which what you need to know about Ephrath is that it is Bethlehem. Okay. I don't know why it has to have separate names, but it's Bethlehem. Rachel began to give birth. Okay, so Rachel is having another son. And she had great difficulty. The midwife said to her, "Don't be afraid, for you have another son." And as she breathed her last, for she was dying, she named her son Ben-Oni, which means son of my trouble. And I don't know, because Jacob is a dickhead, he renamed the kid Benjamin, which means son of my right hand.
That sounds okay. First off, it sounds like Jacob's like, really, Rachel? What the fuck? That's a dumbass name. Your name's Benjamin, boy. But then it's like son of my right hand. It sounds like he fired off some knuckle children and it accidentally landed on Rachel, and so it's like an accidental child there.
Yeah, I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know really why he had to rename him, other than he just didn't like the name. So anyway, Rachel died. She was buried on the way to Ephrath, Bethlehem. Over her tomb, Jacob set up a pillar, and to this day, that pillar marks Rachel's tomb. Okay, so that's what we're gonna. This is where we're gonna go off the grid here for a minute. So I did look this up, and it's a legit thing. However, let's see. The burial site of the Hebrew matriarch Rachel. The tomb is located at the northern entrance of Bethlehem and is considered holy to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Okay, so it's a holy site for all of the Abrahamic religions.
Okay.
The burial place of the matriarch Rachel is mentioned in the Jewish Tanakh and the Christian Old Testament and is in Muslim literature. It is contested, though, to be between the site that is currently accepted as her burial site and several others to the north. So the site that people worship as Rachel's burial place is unlikely to be the actual site of the grave.
Oh, really?
Yes. But it is the most recognized candidate, and Jews, Muslims, and Christians make pilgrimages there every year. So it is a real place, and it's actually quite pretty. It's a small stone building. It has been redone, obviously, a number of times, but the earliest extra biblical records describing the tomb that sits there as Rachel's burial place date to the first decades of the 4th century. And the structure in its current form dates from the Ottoman period. And it's actually situated in an Ottoman period Muslim cemetery.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But the site was renovated in 1841, and it has a antechamber for Muslim prayer. It's got places for Jewish prayer. Like it's interesting. It's interesting how all three religions kind of come together at this particular site, for worship. It's the 3rd holiest site in all of Judaism.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's where we're going to go. I thought that was interesting. I did look it up because it said it's there to this day, which I do realize this is in the Bible, so this was written a long fucking time ago. However, I thought it might be interesting to see if it's a place that actually exists. And while they recognize it as, while they worship there as the place, it is unlikely to be the actual tomb.
Well, I'm wondering if that's the reason. If that's the reason why, because maybe there was no human remains found there.
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot else about it.
Well, because I mean, my guess is that that would be really good evidence that any of this was true about Jacob and whatnot. But of course, it wouldn't be true about the whole God part, but just that Jacob, was I guess a living person.
Right.
But I mean, with the thing only dating back to the Ottoman Empire or something like that, like
Ottoman period.
the Ottoman period, like it
Mhm.
not being able to be dated back to the time, like a time before that, the Genesis was written. I don't, that makes it really hard to like,
Well, it
say it
does.
justifies anything.
Well, it does, and it's it is talked about in extra biblical sources. So it's not like
Well, yeah, but in the
fourth
fourth
century,
century.
right? So it's not. It isn't like people of the time were doing pilgrimages to this site, but it has been recognized, and like I said, there are several other sites that are possibilities. They don't know for sure that this is the one. In fact, it's unlikely, but this is where they worship, and it's more of a tradition, but I just think it's interesting how it's a holy site for all three.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe I just have my head in historicity right now because I can see people saying like, "Well, look, Rachel's temple's a thing, so the Genesis account's true."
Well, so the earliest sketch that they have of this site is a traveler who went there in 1585.
Mm.
So they have a sketch of the building there. It was part of a 17th century Dutch engraving. It was mentioned in a letter from a priest. And I mean, it's just, it is a disputed location, but it is the accepted location by
Right.
Christians, Jews, and Muslims.
Right. I didn't mean for us to get so focused on all of that. I just find the history of things to be rather interesting.
I think it is interesting, but there isn't any conclusive evidence that this is actually the place.
Right.
Okay, so back to the book. What they do now, following this, and this is Genesis 35. They recount Jacob's sons, the names, and who their mothers were. Do you want me to go through those or not? There were 12 sons. It's really not important. We've actually already counted them all here, except the only one we left out was Benjamin. So then I don't get this one. You ready? This is the next part. While Israel was living in that region, Reuben is Jacob's firstborn.
Okay.
From Leah. He went in and slept with his father's concubine Bilhah, and Israel heard of it.
Okay.
That's it. That's the passage. They move on after that. I don't understand why this matters. Who cares what it means? There's no context.
Just Israel Israel or Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, oh, I heard you slept with Bilhah. Was it still good? Is it still popping? That pussy popping, son. I might want to hit her up here in a little bit.
I don't know. That's it. Literally, that is it. I have no idea the context of this whatsoever.
All right.
And I did actually pull a King James Bible versus this versus the New International that we're working with to see if I could find any other context. Nothing. Same deal. Anyway, so the last part of this, so we've lost Rachel, right? Rachel died. She was buried. So Jacob comes home to his father Isaac in Mamre, Mamre? I don't know.
Mamre. All right.
Near Kiriath Arba or Hebron. We've got 3 different names for the same fucking place, where Abraham and Isaac had stayed. Isaac lived 180 years. Then he breathed his last breath and died, and was gathered to his people, old and full of years. His sons Esau and Jacob buried him.
And that is the demise of Isaac.
Yeah. So today we had a rape, we had pillaging and murder. We had a kid was born. Jacob's last son was born. Rachel died. Isaac died. And Reuben, that motherfucker, slept with Bilhah.
For whatever reason. We don't know why it's important. It may prove important later. Who knows?
Also, we forgot Deborah.
Oh, yeah, Debbie died.
Rebecca's nurse died.
God damn it. I mean, everybody hates on Debbie, but, I'm sure she's all right.
Nobody knows who the fuck Debbie is. I don't even know why she gets mentioned. Like, I don't.
You can just imagine she's on her deathbed like, you better fucking write me into this, okay?
Yeah, I don't know, man. So, it is what it is.
All right. Well, that happened. All of that.
We had a lot. We had revenge. We had rape. We had all kinds of crazy shit happen today. So
it's like an episode of Rain.
Rain is a really good show. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. So yeah, that's Genesis chapter 34 and 35. And all so right. That's all we have for today. Next time we're going to work with Genesis chapter 36 and 37. And we're going to talk about the record of the Edomites. So we're going to talk about Esau's sons, Esau's grandsons, Edom. So we're going to go back. Basically, we're going back. Jacob left. Remember, Jacob fled from Esau, and he's been gone for, at minimum, he's been gone for like 14 years. And that's just the 7 years twice that he worked to get Rachel. Yeah. It doesn't count any of the travel time. That doesn't account for anything since they left. That doesn't account for anything. So he's been gone a really long time. So in the next chapters, we're going to go back and learn what happened to Esau and all the people that stayed there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to figure out what Esau and his Chewbacca people end up doing. I am not going to attempt the Chewbacca sound.
Please don't. He did have lots of children. Like lots. He had
would fuck ton be appropriate here?
I don't know. He had a lot of grandchildren too. There's like he's got lots of heirs.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to find out who they are. Catch us next time on the fuck? I mean, GE's Daily Bible Podcast. Hope you all had fun today. I know I did. And down below, I want you guys to let me know exactly how Shechem convinced people to cut off the tip of their dicks.
Yeah, like what would convince you? Like if you still had your dick tip?
And use the hashtag #BloodDickOath if you made it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
We will talk to you guys later. Don't forget
to stand up and use your voice.
We'll see you heathens later.
Bye, y'all.